is service. Service. Service is different from working. Service is twofold. Number one, the ability to solve problems. That's what service is. And number two, service means the ability to go down and make yourself the least in meeting the needs of others. And so the kind of people God makes great in this kingdom are those who render service. And if you see it, this one too, like giving, is universal. Anybody who can solve the problem naturally begin to attract the resources. That's a law in the kingdom. And so when you find people who are not prospering, they don't have service to render. In Matthew 13, verse 4 to 8, Jesus was teaching service from the context of the world, soul winning. And he used the parable of the sower. He said the sower cast his seed. 3 of those investments didn't produce result. But the sower didn't stop. One fell on the streets, one fell on rocky shores, one fell in the midst of thorns. He kept providing. And then he said one fell on fertile ground. But there are 3 things you need to see. Number one is that when you are rendering service, most of the services you render may not be appreciated. And it may not produce result. But you will continue all the same because it's a quality of your spirit. That's why I said it's a state of brokenness, meekness, coming down to provide value to others. How can you have 4 investments, 3 were wasted, and you didn't stop? You still went to the 4th one. Because it's about meeting the needs of other people. So somebody who provides services is sensitive to the plight of humanity. He's not just there to succeed or to survive. He wants to make life better for people. That's the heart posture God sees to prosper you. And then the second thing you see there is that the one that produced results covered and made up for all the losses. Because even the least was 30-fold. The second was 60-fold. The third was 100-fold. So what was lost was nothing compared to what was gained. And so we must become sensitive to rendering service. And the way we build that level of sensitivity is to become sensitive to the need of humanity. You may not begin at a multi-million-dollar level, but in your environment, in your family, in your neighborhood where you are, provide service by solving the problems of people. As you do it, after a while, a point will come, you discover the scale will begin to change. The capacity will begin to increase. The wisdom will begin to increase. And not too long, the wealth will begin to come. And so service is twofold. Number one is the skill for investment. And number two is the sensitivity to the plight of people, thereby producing or providing for their needs. As much as is within your power, make it a lifestyle to address the need of people. As you keep doing it, a point will come, the Spirit of God will begin to empower you to do more. That empowerment is what we call prosperity. Prosperity is not a gift. It comes to those who are able to meet the needs of people. There are most people who cannot show you one person whose need they are meeting. Apart from the fact that they are very selfish, it also means they are very useless. You cannot be on earth and not have one person whose need you are meeting. You become more prosperous when you meet the needs of more persons. That's why wealth is different from riches. Wealth is the ability to make men. Riches is the ability to gather resources. They are two different things. And so the way you become wealthy is by meeting the needs of people, or by constantly, intelligently, and without the fear of risk, investing. Because many times, the first 3 will not produce result. Find people who are not prosperous. They never invest. Some people can walk through a whole year and they have no investment. And they are hoping that God will bless them. How will he do it? And there are people that for a whole year, there's not one person's need that they took upon their shoulder to meet, and they want God to prosper them. What will you do with it? It will be a waste of divine resource. And so before God blesses a man, he finds out if he has the competence and the capacity to render service. The competence and the capacity to render service is the key to prosperity. Wearing suit doesn't make men prosper. Acting like a big man doesn't make men prosper. Find out those who are really wealthy, they are dirty. Dirty not in doing dirty business, but in rendering service. They are in the mud. Every day they are doing what the lazy man doesn't want to do. And as they keep doing it, they keep enlarging. They keep enlarging. They keep enlarging. The man who came to see me yesterday had stains of mud on his garment. And he said, please, I should bear with him. This is how they live every day. But while he's being stained by offering services, his account is swelling up. Meanwhile, you come out with your shoe, there's no dust on it. You are walking like this. You will walk like that for 90 years. As you leave this service, I told you, see, this is not an emotional service. I told you when you leave here, it is the practice that carries the power. So as you leave here, sit down and reassess yourself. What service can I render? And what need can I meet? It may not begin with money. As much as is within your power, begin to render that service, begin to meet that needs, and see what happens to you in 6 months. You will see the way God will come through for you. You don't have to be old to do this. It is a doorway to supernatural prosperity. You don't invest, God can't bless you. He said to Isaac, stay still in Gerar. And in Genesis 26, verse 12 and 13, it said, and Isaac sowed in that land. Everybody was running to Egypt. The cure was not to run away, it was to sow. And he said in the same year, Isaac reaped 100-fold harvest. And he said the Lord blessed him. Why did the Lord bless him? Because he sowed. And he said, and the man waxed great, went forward, grew until he became very great. So he went forward because he was sowing. So you either serve your way to supernatural prosperity, or you sow, invest to supernatural prosperity. The blessing will be hanging until you begin to serve.